The shadowy reality of child protective services. Child protective services. Two words that evoke a sense of security, a promise of protection for the most vulnerable among us. But what happens when this very system designed to safeguard children becomes a source of fear and injustice? Across the nation, accusations are levied without proper investigation, misdiagnoses shatter families, and a shroud of secrecy conceals potential misconduct. This is the dark side of child protective services, a reality hidden from public view. The mission of Child Protective Services is clear: to protect children from abuse and neglect. Yet the line between protecting and persecuting can become blurred, leaving families trapped in a web of suspicion and despair. Torn apart. The heartbreaking case of Grace Packard and the fight for her freedom. 16-year-old Grace Packard was trapped, not by brick and mortar, but by a system that claimed to protect her. Grace suffered from debilitating health issues. Instead, it became the twisted foundation for an accusation against her mother. Ripped from her family, Grace became a prisoner in her own nightmare. The hospital transformed into a cage, holding her captive. But Grace refused to be silenced. She fought back, her voice a beacon of strength and resilience. Her story ignited a firestorm of outrage, shining a light on the potential for abuse. The heartbreaking case of Grace Packard, who was tragically dismembered by the people who had taken care of her, began when her custody was taken over by children and youth of Northampton County. Accused and silenced, the story of Anaya Young and the desperate struggle against misdiagnosis. Anaya Young, a vibrant young girl, became entangled in the clutches of Child Protective Services due to a rare medical condition. Her symptoms, a complex tapestry of pain and discomfort, were tragically misconstrued as signs of abuse. The accusation, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a cruel echo of Grace Packard's ordeal. Anaya's parents, their lives upended by this monstrous allegation, found themselves battling not only for their daughter's health, but also for their family's very existence. The system, meant to be a safety net, had transformed into a snare, trapping them in a bureaucratic nightmare. Their pleas for understanding, for proper medical evaluations, were met with suspicion and disbelief. Anaya's story is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of misdiagnosis, a chilling testament to the urgent need for expert medical consultation in cases involving complex medical conditions. Tragically, Anaya Young died of a fentanyl overdose in Pennsylvania, a preventable tragedy that underscores the critical failures of the system meant to protect her. Section 4: Scars that run deep. The devastating impact of wrongful separation on families. The trauma inflicted by wrongful separation reverberates through families, leaving indelible scars on both parents and children. Imagine the unimaginable. Your child, ripped from your arms, your home eerily silent, the bond you cherish torn asunder by suspicion and distrust. This is the agonizing reality faced by families ensnared in the web of CPS overreach. Parents endure the living nightmare of being branded as abusers, their reputations tarnished, their lives thrown into turmoil. The emotional toll is immeasurable. The constant fear, the gnawing uncertainty, the desperate longing to hold their children close once more. For children, the experience can be equally traumatic. The sudden separation from their parents, their homes, their routines can trigger feelings of abandonment, fear, and confusion. The emotional scars of this separation can linger long after families are reunited, a painful reminder of the system's potential to harm. Section 5: Demanding justice, demanding change, a call for transparency and reform within Child Protective Services. The cases of Grace Packard, Anaya Young, and countless others like them stand as a stark indictment of a system in dire need of reform. The time for complacency is over. The time for accountability is now. We must demand transparency from Child Protective Services, tearing down the veil of secrecy that often protects misconduct and perpetuates injustice. We must advocate for rigorous oversight, ensuring that investigations are conducted with fairness and impartiality, that accusations are grounded in evidence, not conjecture. The well-being of our children hinges on our collective action, our unwavering commitment to dismantling the systemic flaws that allow such injustices to occur. We must be the voice for the voiceless, the guardians of justice for those who have been wronged. Section 6: Uniting for a just cause, protecting our children, empowering families, and holding CPS accountable. The battle against CPS corruption is not a battle against the very concept of child protection. It is a fight for the soul of a system entrusted with the safety and well-being of our most vulnerable citizens. We must stand united, a chorus of voices demanding change, demanding accountability, demanding justice. Support the families who have been torn apart by a system rife with flaws. Become advocates for reform, pushing for legislation that ensures transparency, fairness, and accountability within child protective services. Educate yourselves and others about the potential for abuse within the system, empowering families with the knowledge and resources they need to protect themselves. Together, we can be the catalyst for change, transforming child protective services from a source of fear and injustice into a beacon of hope and a true guardian of our children's well-being. This is the Mystery Sigma. Stay vigilant, stay informed. Also, share your story with me so we can bring down CPS and the others involved.